All right, good morning. I hope everybody's doing very nicely today. Today we're going to talk about unit fractions and them being multiples of a larger number. So the most important thing you can remember right now is that a unit fraction has a numerator of 1. So anytime we're looking at a fraction with 1 as a numerator, we would consider it a unit fraction. So here's the basic idea. Let's say you got a number like 4/5. The idea of the unit fraction is that we can break this down. It's like decomposing again. If we remember that a unit fraction has a numerator of 1, let's just say I got 1/5. Okay, since we're looking at fifths here, I can make this into an addition equation that looks like this. So now I've broken down 4/5 into 4 separate parts. Each is worth 1/5. I have a numerator of 1, that makes it a unit fraction, okay? That's the basic idea. But then from there, we're talking about how does multiplication fit into this whole idea? Well, if you remember from what you've learned already in math is that multiplication is just repeated addition. It's really no different here with fractions. You have the same sort of concept working together. So if you look at how many 1/5 pieces do I have? Remember, these 1/5 pieces are part of the whole. So let's say that was your whole piece, okay? You'd break that into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be a fifth, a fifth, a fifth, and a fifth. This too is a fifth, but for this sample, we're only looking at 4/5. So another way you could write that using multiplication would be to do something like this. I have 4 parts of 1/5, and I could write that as a multiplication problem. 4 times 1/5. So that's the way it would look. Now, when we're multiplying this out, just think about it for a second. What will we multiply? Will we multiply this and this, and this and this? Let's say we did that. Let's say we multiplied 4 times 1, and then we multiplied 4 times 5. 4/20. Well, we're not talking about 20ths at the moment. We're talking about fifths. So to multiply the denominator by that would actually be kind of incorrect. And we're going to do this type of problem. You're only going to multiply this number. When we multiply fractions, we only multiply that. The denominator shouldn't change. So 4 times 1 is 4. Denominator stays the same, 4/5. So that is the quick way of writing this. We're using unit fractions because they have a 1 in the numerator, and we just multiply the whole number times the numerator, and that will give us our 4/5. Okay? We don't want to overcomplicate this part. This is pretty straightforward. Just remember, you only multiply the numerator. The denominator, we're not changing the size of the piece at this time. Okay, we're just going to leave it as fifths. Okay, so let's look at another problem. I'm using the book. If you want to look at your book, all this starts on page 543. Okay? Here's another one. Let's take 3/4, for example. Remember, unit fractions have a numerator of 1, so if I can break this down into 1 as a numerator, it'd be 1/4, right? Well, how many 1/4 do I need to get to 3/4? Raise your hand if you know. Good, I'm glad you know. That's right, we're going to add 1/4 plus 1/4 plus 1/4. What does that equal when you add them up? 3/4. Now let's do it as a multiplication problem. How many 1/4 are there? Anyone? Raise your hand if you know. Ah, good. That's right, there's 3. So 3 of them times how many? Times 1/4. Remember, we're only going to multiply the numerator. So what's 3 times 1? 3. Denominator stays the same, 3/4. Okay? That's pretty much it. And they're going to throw that at you in a couple of different ways. So let's look at some more problems. Do a few more here. He might give you something like this. 3/4 equals what number times 1/4? Well, remember, this is going to have to be your big number over here. So this would equal 3 times 1/4. Remember, you multiply the whole number times the numerator. They might give you something like this. Here's another one. So if they give you that, what are you going to get? Well, there's where that came from, right? What should be here? Your denominator from over there. So this would equal 3 times 1/6. Okay? That's pretty much it. How about one more? So let's say they give you 8/6. How could I write that with unit fractions as a multiplication problem? Well, remember, unit fractions have a numerator of 1. So if the denominator is 6, what does my unit fraction have to be? It has to be 1/6. Okay? And then from there, what's the whole number going to be? How many parts of 1/6 do I have? That's what the numerator tells us, right? So this is going to be 8. If you multiply this times this, you get 8/6, which equals 8/6. Okay? Now let's extend it. Let's say I asked you to turn this improper fraction into a mixed number. Remember how to do this? Is there anybody out there that remembers how to do this? Raise your hand. Okay. Yes, you? That's right. We got to take 6/6 out of this. So if I take 6/6 out of that, 8 is more than 6. So 6/6. That would be your one whole that you're going to take out. How many would be left here from taking 6 out? Right, 2. So your answer would be 1 2/6. Remember that? How do you go back to that? Remember my little formula? 6 times 1 is 6. Well, let's start here. Denominator will stay the same. And you go 6 times 1 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So that's how you go back and forth between an improper fraction to a mixed number to an improper fraction. Okay? Hopefully this isn't too confusing for you. If you have questions, please email me. And I guess that's about it. The sun is shining. Go enjoy your day. After you do your work, of course. I miss you.